good show.
Looking good. Shirtless. New shirt.
Yeah. I got 4 or 5 new ones coming this week, though.
Updating the wardrobe.
Well, hello and welcome to SoCal Prep Report. I don't know about you, but I'm stuffed. It was National Pancake Day today, and I ate. I hope you did too. We're going to talk a lot of high school football tonight. Got some great guests from Leuzinger, their head coach Jason Miller, and his fine running back, a guy by the name of Journee. I love that name, and he's going to tell us a little bit about scoring a couple touchdowns to be the hero in a big game that they won this previous week that we'll discuss against Santa Margarita. Anyway, Tarek Fatal, did you eat a lot of pancakes today?
Didn't have one pancake today. Didn't know it was National Pancake Day. However, pancakes do sound good. We got someone that's going to come on the air later that actually piqued my interest. I'm more of a French toast guy as well, so maybe we'll talk about with Coach Miller a little later.
Okay, and maybe his running back Journee Tonga will eat a lot of pancakes during the day. Who knows? Athletes can eat. So let's talk about some of these football teams that ate this previous week and got some big victories. And let's start with Narbonne over Cathedral. A huge win for the LA City section. Obviously, Narbonne is for real.
Cathedral was 4-0. Narbonne on the road at Cathedral, and an impressive win. And even if Narbonne would have came up short, these city section teams that are vying for position in the Open Division playoffs, they go out and they play these Southern section teams, and sometimes they don't win, but you know they're getting ready for that city section Open Division playoff. And even coming up short against a quality teams, making them better, but they ended up getting the victory. Huge win for the Gauchos.
Saturday night game, this was disappointment for Sierra Canyon and a great win for Orange Lutheran, rallying from a big deficit in the second half. Actually, in the fourth quarter, they came back from double digits down. You can see they were down 26-7 at one point. 26-7
at halftime. It was 26-10 in the fourth quarter. 23 unanswered points in the final quarter for the Lancers and Rod Sherman. They had just got shellacked to Bishop Gorman in Vegas. Then they had to come back home and play a really good Sierra Canyon team. Things looked bleak early, and they turned it around. Really good test of fortitude for that Lancers team. Yeah, the Lancers against the toughest schedule in the country, playing really good football. Their only loss was the game in Las Vegas to Bishop Gorman. Next up, Mission Viejo. This is a tough assignment. They had to go to Arizona and play Basha, who's one of the top teams there. And Mission Viejo on the road got the benefit of a nice call. So this game was at home. However, if they were in Arizona, I wonder if they would have lost the game, because Basha's a very, very, very talented team. They got Division I guys. They're the number 1-2 team in Arizona. Had to get them on the road. I tell you what, if it was the other way around, I thought it was in Arizona. Yeah, no, it was home. It was home, and Vance Spafford caught 2 touchdowns and blocked 2 punts for Mission Viejo. Stole your stuff? Stole the stuff. you gotta read the rundown. I'm sorry. He's part of our top performances, but that's okay. Okay. That's good. We'll talk about it again. That's good. He knew the stuff. That's really good. Mater Dei over St. Francis of Maryland. This is a very good St. Francis team, and wasn't easy. I mean, they were in control. Their defense again was dominant. It is. Nasir Wyatt, Abdul Sanders. I mean, the list goes on. Chuck McDonald III in the defensive secondary. Mater Dei, very, very good. But that St. Francis team from Maryland, they're like traveling around the country. They played St. John Bosco. They played Mater Dei. They travel around the country. They play a national schedule, so always a tough team. Our friends from Hesperia on homecoming night. You know the guys from Oak Hills. They're still undefeated, 5-0. They really put a number on St. Bonaventure. Carson Cox, who was on the show last week, 119 yards and 3 touchdowns for the Bulldogs. He's at it again. 16 touchdowns on the year. Very, very talented. UCLA commit for now, but he told us on air he's been hearing from other schools. You know, that verbal commitment can be a little shaky. We don't know what he might end up on signing day, but he's hearing from big-time schools. You know who's not shaky? The Hart football team. I always want to call them the Indians, but they're not called the Indians. Just call them the Indians. Hart has won 35-14. Big win there. It's 82-yard touchdown on the first play from scrimmage. It was the quarterback, Pisano, throwing the football to his brilliant wide receiver, Parker Maxwell. Yeah, Jake Goosen is the coach over there and having a great debut season. Hart is one of those traditional high school football teams out in the Santa Clarita Valley, public school, the Foothill League, the whole nine. I do think the league's a little down, but that's nobody's fault. Go win it. I think the game against Valencia will determine the league champion.
They are now called the Hawks, but for so many years they were the Indians, and they don't get a lot of publicity, and that's a great win for them because Golden Valley was unbeaten. Leuzinger, yes, the good guys who are going to join us momentarily. 14-13 over Santa Margarita, and our guest, Journee Tonga, journeyed into the end zone a couple times.
Listen, this was a stunner. I mean, it's just the truth. Santa Margarita, remember, let's not forget, they lost their first game of the year to Mission Viejo. We thought, maybe they're not so good. Then they went and beat Corona Centennial handedly on the road, and they were on a 3-game winning streak. They roll into Leuzinger, and Leuzinger puts it to them, man, and that's awesome. So what a great result it was for the Olympians. Curious to hear about what that was like from Coach Miller and Journee.
Jason Miller is 46 years of age. He wins wherever he goes. He's been at previous stops, but he's really homegrown. He attended Leuzinger. He's a captain of the football team there. His brothers played at Leuzinger High School. His sister was the cheer captain. Did you know that?
I did not. That's good. That's good research right there.
He sent me his resume. So we have Jason Miller and Journee Tonga joining us now. Gentlemen, thanks for popping in tonight. Coach, all right, I know you did a little play-by-play on cable before. Give me the last few seconds in your words as a play-by-play guy as Leuzinger stuns Santa Margarita.
All right, here's the play-by-play. Leuzinger wins.
That's it?
That's a
it's
great
a good call.
That's a good call. Keep it simple, little natural sound sometimes with a simple call. Coach, I like your style.
Yeah, he's got a future in the industry. Coach, what'd that win mean to the program?
You know, the win meant so much. It really meant a lot to the alumni and the adults. You know, our kids were expecting to win. You know, kids feel they're invincible. They feel they put in hard work. You know, our kids such as Journee work so hard at 6 a.m. in the morning. And, you know, we pointed to this game, this opportunity to play a Trinity League team. You know, we actually scrimmaged Modern Day. So that actually helped us prepare. You know, we have a good group of kids. We have a great group of coaches. You know, Leuzinger, we're so excited that, you know, the top 10, top 11, usually it's the same schools that are recycled amongst those. Now we're in there. You know, we're a working class community. We have new facilities that we're very, very proud of. And, you know, we felt that we're prepared. We felt we had the facilities, the preparation, the coaching, the hard work from the players, the family. So we were right there, and we took advantage of the opportunity.
Journee, before heading into that game, you know, you got quote-unquote big bad Santa Margarita coming to town, right? A Trinity League team. But when you started playing the game and you were able to prove you belonged, and once you believe, hey, man, well, not only can we play with these guys, we can beat these guys. What was that moment? Can you pick out a moment or a play in the game where you thought, wait a minute, we might get these guys tonight?
I knew from the jump, like from the beginning of the week, from Monday, I knew we can get these guys. I just took them as another team, and I just knew we can beat them.
Well, we
prepared well throughout the week.
And you won it on your touchdown. Take us to that final touchdown. I know your brother is the center, so you're following your brother. Yeah. What was that like? How tough was it to get in the end zone? And once you got there, that moment when you knew you at least tied the game, had to kick the PAT to win it, which you guys did. How was that? What went through your mind?
It was just like a shell shock. Like at first, I got the ball, I hit the hole, and it's just like still got stuck. And then I just kept moving my feet, and then that's when I felt everyone, like my teammates and my brother, they just pulled me into the end zone. And then everything from there was just, it was like a shell shock, and then we won the game.
Coach, here's my question for you. It's a bunch of teenagers high on a big victory, and you've been around football a long time. What's the best way you can celebrate the win? Mandatory, I would say. But you got to keep looking forward, and you can't have any letdowns, Coach. How do you coach your team through that right there?
Well, you know, it's probably no coincidence that Monday I ripped them pretty good for coming in, you know, a little bit overconfident coming in the week. You know, this is probably natural as a coach. But we've been preparing our kids. We're actually in a new Bay League, which is one of the toughest leagues in California. And we're telling the kids, it's one game at a time. It's Super Bowl every week, and so we're preparing actually for our league. And I just wanted to add one more thing about Journey. Journey's the leading rusher in the state of California with regards to yards per game, leading rusher in California, and he also didn't come off the field on defense. Journey's our hardest worker. I'm so glad you guys have an opportunity to meet him, and Southern California has an opportunity to meet him because he's literally our hardest worker and did not leave the field Friday night.
Coach, I want to go back to the fact that your roots are at this school at Leuzinger, and I know you had success at other schools, but to go back to your alma mater, where it all started for you, what does this great start mean to you personally?
Well, it was difficult to take the job. I wasn't interested in the opening at all. I was very happy at Bellflower when we turned the program around, and the first year we, went to the CIF championship game. But I took a side trip one day and stopped off at Leuzinger and saw the new baseball field, the new football field, the new facilities, and I was just in awe. It was a very different place from when I went there in 1996. And after that game, I've never had so many text messages in my life, and my social media has just absolutely blown up. I have to keep my phone plugged in because the battery's draining quickly. And it just warmed my heart every day. I tell the players every day, I said, hey guys, I just want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to work with you guys every day. This is when I was 14, I dreamed that Leuzinger could be this place with the right coach that cared about them. And so, this was my opportunity, not because Leuzinger was this huge job, because I wanted to be able to help the kids that were my friends, right, 25, 30 years ago, and see them through the, graduation and college and career and life. And, Journey's two uncles I actually coached 20 years ago when I was a JV coach at Leuzinger. So, having the opportunity to coach Journey and work with his uncle now as our defensive coordinator, Coach Sakona, it's just a dream come true. It's a dream come true.
Journey, my last question for you. Coach mentioned the league, right? Tough league, Bay League. Always, every team always eyes their league championship. Then there's the postseason, so on and so forth. But when there's so much success, can you tell me, how do you look at just one game at a time? Is it something you guys talk about? Do you talk about winning a CIF championship? Does Coach shut that down real quick? What's it like day to day when it comes to your goals?
Every practice, every coach talks about we have to take every week one by one, and every game one by one. Just take every week slow, and we just take every team seriously.
Coach, last question. I'm looking at your resume and I see social justice educator. What's that all about?
Well, when I was teaching up north at Gunn High School in Palo Alto, I was teaching the sons and daughters of Stanford graduates, and I even taught the Russian ambassador, the ambassador to Russia's son in my government class. And so it was very, very kind of high level student, and we had a social justice pathway, and they needed someone to teach in that pathway. So they were history classes aimed at a social justice lens, and I hadn't taught it before, but I went up there and was lauded for my efforts in teaching social justice to students up there. So it's always close to my heart. I'm a teacher, right? I'm a special ed teacher at Leuzinger. I was a history teacher up north. If you're a teacher, you can teach anything. So I'm a football coach, teacher, and I can do a lot of different things. So social justice teacher was just one of them.
Well, Coach, you're teaching well because your players are performing. Best of luck tomorrow. I think you're a big favorite against Hawthorne, but keep it going. No letdowns. Journey, congratulations on a wonderful start to your final season. And guys, thanks for being aboard.
I appreciate it. Don't lose my number for that play-by-play.
I know. It's on my queue here to go and dial you in. Good guys.
Yeah, man.
Good program.
That's the kind of stuff you root for. I mean, last week I felt like we had good guys on in Oak Hills, right? Coach Metzger and Carson Cox. And today we got Coach Miller and Journey. And Leuzinger is off to a really hot start. Very curious to see where they end up in the postseason. I would like to peg them as the favorites to win the Bay League. Despite it having some good teams, I think they're the team to beat.
Flag football tonight, there was a big game, really a huge game, and it was won by Orange Lutheran, two Trinity League teams. They played J. Sarah and beat them 35-14. Right now, this Orange Lutheran team is regarded as the best team in the country. I mean, J. Sarah was good. They came in 13-4, so this was a big flag football win for them. Of course, they got McKenna Cook at quarterback. I know you want to talk about it, but that's a huge win, and they're 17-0.
That's the name. She's like the LeBron James of girls flag football, man. She is the player, and if I'm not mistaken, she's only a sophomore.
She is.
She's, man, what an athlete she is. I'm going to have to get out and go watch her play and maybe even write a story on her, because I think I mentioned this last week, and I don't mind repeating myself. I think when you look at a flag football player and you think about what could come down the line in that sport, and you think about maybe like women's flag football and the NCAA ranks and scholarships, McKenna Cook might be the first female athlete to garner something like that. She's that dynamic of an athlete.
Speaking of dynamic athletes, we had a lot of top performances this past week. Let's start in the city section. Young man from Kennedy High School, Diego Montez.
This guy's on
their quarterback.
Fire.
He is on fire. Look at 234 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, ran for a couple scores. Big win. They murdered Reseda. How about the running back at Bell? And Bell's pretty good. 280 yards for Eric Stubbs, a couple scores against Southeast.
Yeah, really, really good. Diego Montez, every week I get a text from Troy Cassidy.
Right.
And it's always like, how many touchdowns did Diego score this week? I think he scored 6 the week prior. And how many did he have this week? 5 or 6 again.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, the guy is just unstoppable and clearly has the Cougars eyeing a Division I city section championship.
It has not been a good year for Chaminade football, but for Cameron Pooley, he had a big night. Passed the ball effectively, 251 yards, but he was responsible for 5 touchdowns in the air. That's getting the job done.
Yeah, let's not forget, quick reminder, Chaminade lost their starting quarterback for the last couple of years, Seth Shig. He transferred to Culver City. So Cameron Pooley steps in, not really expecting to be the starter, no varsity experience, but to see him have some success after a few games under his belt tells you that he's getting better, and that's what's important.
We always have to credit the kickers, and Colin Childers with a game-winning field goal for Capistrano Valley, 40 yards.
Wow.
Just a few seconds were left, and he did it against Foothill.
Yeah, anytime, in my opinion, you see 40 or more in high school, kind of rare. A lot of things have to go right in the high school game for long yardage field goals to happen. There has to be blocking, the snap has to be good, the hold, then the kicker has to be pure with it. So to knock down a 40-yard game-winning field goal is quite impressive.
All right, Tarek, who's the last one up there?
Oh, that's a guy named Vance Spafford. Yeah, we're talking about a junior wide receiver that's got offers to Georgia and all the blue bloods, man. Clemson, they're all after him. USC, UCLA, so on and so forth. Scored 2 touchdowns, but also had 2 punt blocks. So he's like a special teams ace on that team.
Yeah, could have been special teams player of the week.
Yeah.
All right, let's turn our attention to the rankings. We do this each and every week. It's football right now, although we're going to have a few other items that are outside the football stadium. Here's SB Live's Southern Section Football Top 10. Really not a whole lot of changes here. These are the dynamic teams. The big change in the top 10 for me, Leuzinger, and of course Oaks Christian had that big win a week ago against J. Sarah, but against Sarah, I always call him J. Sarah, but it's Sarah Gardena. Oaks Christian to 9 and Leuzinger to 10.
Yeah, I felt, look, I don't know how long Oaks and Leuzinger are going to stay up there because other teams are going to be playing better competition and so on and so forth. But for this week, after beating Santa Margarita, they absolutely deserve a spot in the top 10. They've earned that. And so for me, those are the top 10 teams.
You weren't happy with the Max Preps top 10 in the city, so we got Tarek's SB Live city rankings. We had to replace Max Preps. And again, it's heavily Marine League. Top 3 for you. You like Palisades.
I do like Palisades. They've got a couple wins over Southern Section teams. Their only loss is to Brentwood in overtime. So, look, they're not out there playing nobodies. They're out there playing some quality opponents. And like I mentioned and alluded to earlier in the show already, the top-level city section teams that go and test their might, they give themselves litmus tests by going and playing Southern Section programs, those are the ones that end up doing well in the postseason. Palisades is going to be an Open Division championship. They're going to be an Open Division contender, and they're going to win the Western League championship.
Another note there, Westchester, which has improved to 5-0. They had a nice win over Cleveland of Reseda. And King Drew did number 10.
Yeah, King Drew, I believe, won in overtime against Marquez. Now, Marquez not exactly a heavy hitter, but King Drew's coming along, and they're going to be a lot better after this week or coming up on Friday because the sit-out period. So they're going to get some transfers that are going to improve their roster mightily.
Speaking of heavy hitters, some heavy hitters to play volleyball at Sierra Canyon, and they ended up playing a marathon match against a very good Marymount team. Sierra Canyon won it 3-2 in the fifth set, 15-12. The biggest hitter there was Hannah McGinnis. She had 16 kills for Sierra Canyon.
That's Willie's daughter.
Yeah. Randy Boston had 9 kills and 8 blocks for the winners. Those are two good teams. They're going to meet again in 2 weeks. Sierra Canyon, the Blazers are 19-2. The Sailors fall to 20-4, but they're contenders for the championship.
Mission League Showdown is what that was. That's why they're going to play again here in a couple weeks, as you said. Sierra Canyon, in the latest polls and things like that, when they bring out these rankings, remember, competitive equity now, ladies and gents. So right now, it's all rankings that create these playoffs, like similar to football. Now it's all the team sports and CIF. And so right now, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure Sierra Canyon's number 1, and they've earned that. So they lost to Redondo Union, but Coach Stephanie Wigfall said a couple of their best players didn't play. Were a little banged up. So Trailblazers are the team to beat.
But either way, Sierra Canyon and Marymount are dangerous in the tournament.
Yes.
Two of the favorites.
For
and
sure.
had a wonderful match. Actually, Sierra Canyon had to rally. They won the 4th set. They match point for
It was 3-1.
the Sailors. Yeah,
Or
3-2.
Sorry, 3-2. Correct.
So, but Marymount had match point, so they were able to dodge that in the 4th set. Sierra Canyon win it 28-26 and then prevail in the 5th set. All right, key football games coming up. And again, a lot of teams are having byes this week. So some of these matchups are not what we're accustomed to seeing, but it's an opportunity to give some schools some pub. And here's Los Alamitos and Serra of Gardena.
Yeah, this is a toss-up. I think Los Alamitos hasn't quite played a major schedule, if I'm being honest. But Serra Gardena has. Boy, they've played everyone really, really good. So, you know, they lost a close one to Oaks Christian. They were banged up. Hopefully they're healthy. And if they are, that'll be a much different game.
Servite has gone under the radar. They're in the Trinity League. They're unbeaten. They're playing excellent football. You know, kind of a dangerous game, like a trap game playing St. Paul at Orange Coast College. You would think Servite would win, but again, St. Paul has nice tradition.
Yeah, St. Paul does have good tradition. Their biggest win was earlier in the year against Bishop Aumont, by the way, and it hasn't been so great lately. Like, they played Los Alamitos, and it didn't go well. They've played some teams that are probably a little bit higher level than them, and you give them kudos for going out and challenging themselves. This is another one. I don't think they're going to beat Servite, but they will get better for it.
Birmingham hasn't won a football game. They've won the city title in the Open Division the last 4 years. Again, they've been playing Southern Section schools, and this could be another rough outing going to Calabasas.
Yeah, I think it might actually be closer than we think. Birmingham gets their quarterback transfer, Kevin Hawkins, eligible. That'll make a difference because they've been playing a freshman quarterback these first 3 games, and, you know, it could make a difference just purely out of experience. Yeah. Birmingham is going to have a rough couple games here until they roll into league play.
Yeah, Kevin Hawkins, we all saw him at El Camino High School, and Woodland Hills transfers to Birmingham. Big kid, can really run the football. His passing had some issues a year ago, but when he puts the ball down under his body, under that arm, and runs, he is physical as a quarterback. All right, Banning at Redondo Union. This is a very intriguing game.
It is.
I think this is an outstanding football game.
It is. Redondo Union, you know who becomes eligible for them? Matt Leinert's son. So Matt Leinert's son, Cole Leinert, was at Mater Dei.
Right.
Transferred to Newport Harbor last year, mid-year. I don't think he ever played, and if he did, it was not a lot. Then he just transferred to Redondo Union and was a sit-out period. So now he's going to be eligible. I don't know if he's going to play, but that's something to keep an eye on. Last ad on Banning, they just came off beating a Southern Section team. They beat Palos Verdes at home. So Banning is a quality team. I believe I have him number 3 in the city rankings.
Yeah, Stephen Perez is the guy at Banning. He's versatile. He plays quarterback, wide receiver, plays safety on defense. Very good football player, a candidate for City Player of the Year. In the last game that we want to talk about, I think you might add one, though. I think you have one you want to add. But we mentioned Culver City at Dorsey. Yeah. I think Dorsey is maybe a little bit over its skis here.
Yeah, they are. They are. It's good to see them 3-1. Stephon Johnson, colleague of mine over at KCal. Sometimes we'll do Saturday shows together. Good dude, is coaching his freshman son at Dorsey High School, or maybe he's a sophomore, but I know he's an underclassman for sure. So it's a great story. However, I do think Culver City is going to win the game.
And the game you just added. This is a Tarek edition.
This is breaking news.
No, it's not breaking news. But you do think this is the best game of the week. Chaparral and Mission Viejo.
Breaking game. Yeah, no, this really is the game of the week simply because these are two top teams. Mission Viejo is right there slotted at 3 in everyone's rankings, right behind Mater Dei and Bosco. And Chaparral is like in the 11, 12, 13 range. Both teams unbeaten. The game is going to be at Mission Viejo. I'll be making the trek out there tomorrow. Looking forward to it. It should be a good game.
I wrote down a little note. Sit out period. Okay, these players are now going to become eligible. Who's going to benefit the most? What school pops out to you?
Yeah, King Drew's a school that I mentioned that's going to get a couple guys. Joe Torres' son becomes eligible. He's a good player. So things like that. I do think the usual suspects, like St. John Bosco's got a couple transfers. No, everyone's got a couple transfers. We mentioned Birmingham's going to have an impact at quarterback. So it's not always the transfers. Sometimes it's which transfers are going to, what position do these transfers play? One thing I will tell you right now, they're not SOPs, but it's been a storyline to watch this year, and that's Madanaya Maleva and Jace Brown. They're likely to get eligible and play at Long Beach Poly, and it could be as soon as this week.
Let's hope so. I'd like to see them play because they're good performers. Really good players, college players. All right, let's talk a little bit about a little sad note, really. Verbum Day has ended its football season. They're 0-4. Not a lot of guys were left, 19 players. Their coach stepped down. Really sad to see a program go out.
Yeah, not good. In fact, I had to write a little kind of scandalous story during the week. They were down 63-0 to Mary Star of the Sea out in like San Pedro, and one of the Verbum Day players before the snap slapped the other kid before the. You could just tell things were spiraling, and that's an indicator that things aren't going well. I will say that player was immediately removed from the team by the coach. So that dropped them down to 18 players from the 19. And I think when you look at the way they were losing, it was probably for the best when it comes to health, because you can't trot out there with 18 guys, Randy.
January 10th, there's going to be basketball at the Intuit Arena with high school teams. Bosco's going to be there, Mater Dei, kind of a showcase. And, of course, if we have Tarek here, we have to mention basketball.
Yeah, so I'll tell you what it is. I've been sitting on this for a couple months. It's not official, but it is happening. What it is it's actually a Mission League, Trinity League day. So they're not going to be playing each other. It's going to be Mission League teams playing. They're all going to be league games, and you're going to get 3 Mission League games and 3 Trinity League games, and it's going to be a full day of basketball at the Intuit Dome, and it's going to be really, really, really fun.
And you'll be there.
I will absolutely be there.
Tarek loves hoops. All right, we're at the halfway stage, really, of high school football. So I'm going to ask Tarek, and then I'll have my opinion. Who is the best quarterback so far this year? He didn't know this was coming.
Wow.
In high school football.
Yeah, I'm just going to stick with my guy, Brady Smigel.
That's it?
That's it. Done. Go ahead. Next
Newberry
question.
Park. You got to mention where he goes to school.
Oh yeah, Newberry Park.
How many
but
touchdowns has he
But I
thrown?
mention him every week. Everyone
How many
at home knows
touchdowns
who
has he
he
thrown in his career?
He's got to be at like 106, 107.
I think 106, 107. That's right.
The guy is unbelievable, and he just throws it to Shane Rosenthal. People know where he's throwing it. They can't stop it.
You know who I'm picking?
You're picking Oscar Rios.
You stole my thunder. Downey High School.
Yeah, that guy's a monster.
Oscar Rios.
No, he's a problem.
Listen. In 5 games, he's thrown 12 touchdown passes. Okay, a lot of people have done that. But he's also run for 7 touchdowns. That means in 5 games, Oscar Rios has accounted for 19 touchdowns through the game winner against Long Beach Millikan in the best game this year in prep football, 69-68 in regulation. Oscar Rios is the quarterback.
I think he's got like something like 1,200 or 1,300 yards passing already too.
1,500.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. 1,500.
I mean, I'm on Oscar's case. I know all the facts. I think it's 15.
What's his middle name?
Well, let's not go overboard. Jones, Oscar Jones Rios.
I like that. Okay. Yeah, no. One of I just this week put together 4 lists for SB Live, watch lists. Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Freshman of the Year, and Breakout Player of the Year for 2024. Watch lists, who to keep an eye on, and Oscar Rios is on the Breakout Player of the Year list.
We got to go, so just give me a quick name. Best running back so far.
I'm gonna have to go. Oh, you know, I might. Okay, it's a toss up between my guy Carson Cox,
Okay.
Anthony League out of Milliken. Was that gonna be your pick?
Yeah, it's my pick. You stole my
man,
pick.
yeah, he's been stellar, man. He really has been stellar.
It's almost like we're married. I mean, that was
Whoa,
really
whoa,
bad.
whoa, Randy.
I did
golly.
not expect him
It's
to
a
come up with
family
Anthony
network,
Lee.
For God's sake.
I mean, Carson Cox.
No, Carson.
How about Tonga, the guy we had on, Journee Tonga?
Yeah. He's right there. He's right there. But Anthony League. You know what? And I don't know if it's a typo on Max Preps. Anthony League also has, I think, 6 or 7 interceptions on the year.
I know. I had him down. He was my guy. He stole my pick.
I know. Yeah,
That's
man.
it. We're done. I hope you enjoyed the show.
No, that was fun.
For Tarek, I'm Randy. We'll see you next week, right here, live on SoCal Prep Report. Good night, everybody.
This is what Tony
How
Reale,
could you have taken
around the
Anthony
horn,
League
Tony
from me?
Reale always does at the end of the shows.